Hi and welcome back another week. Did you enjoy the flowers? I thought they were lovely, the lilies. I really enjoyed painting those lilies. It's almost like they were growing out of the canvas, wasn't it? I really enjoyed them. That was one of my favourites for a while. This week I'm going to paint a lovely waterfall, but I'm going to show you how I would change the colouring of a photograph. So I'm going to go from kind of a summery, bright summery kind of a colour to maybe a more autumn type of a scene. So changing colours in trees, in the water, that type of thing. So we have something like that this week. A lot of learning, lots of learning, okay? I just wanted to show you a couple of things I have in my studio here. Pictures I have. Oh, this is one I just finished. What do we think? I was thinking I might do a tutorial on this because it turned out quite nice, to be honest. Lovely rich colours, as you can see there. And this is just kind of a quick painting I'd done earlier, just kind of messing around, bit of practice, that type of stuff. So I might do a tutorial on this. I think that's quite nice. And there's our lilies, which is awaiting a home. It's sold, but I'm waiting for someone to collect it, which is great news. And what else have I? I have another nice cottage up there, something similar to what we did on the cottage tutorial. Oh yes, and I painted some other lilies as well, which I wanted to show you. Here we go. What do we think? I thought a greyish kind of a background. I said I'd try it with a grey, kind of a pinky grey background for a change. That looks quite nice. So just to show you how you can change colours around and make it your own, and just try. I mean, it's the very same as the one with the three lilies. I just took one out and I just changed the background colour then just to try it, and that's the single one that we copied from the last time as well, to give you an impression. So yes, lots of new little paintings. I'm always painting constantly. Now the waterfall is going to be similar to this. It's actually this painting. This painting is much darker than the photograph, so I'm going to paint something like this, but I might try some autumn kind of colours. Now this is a nice one as well. We could do this another time, but I promised one of you that I would paint something like this with autumn, fall kind of colours. So yes, that's it. Happy days. We are going very well. Actually, I wanted to show you something. One of you was asking me about these colour charts I have hanging here, and basically it's just normal household kind of colour charts that you'd find in a DIY store. And the reason is, when I'm painting a picture, I can kind of stand here and I kind of glance at these and I can look through them and I can sort of get an idea of the type of colouring that I want to use. So like lovely cool greys and browns, kind of nice pastel soft colours, and I can kind of mix and match. I can put them next to each other and mix and match and get some kind of nice complementary colours. So that's the only reason I have this really. It's just to kind of glance at it every now and again, just to get an idea of some colours that I want to use, or some colours that might look nice together. And I go from there then. That's kind of the way I would start the painting. So for example, with the waterfall this week now, I'm going to be using kind of nice earthy kind of reds and yellows like that, browns. So lots of these types of colours, keeping it nice, but again keeping it soft. So that's just the reason I have that there. It's just something to help me get an idea of colours. That's it really. Oh yes, I want to show you my brushes. I might sell these as a set, I'm thinking, because I get lots of people asking me for the full set, but I can sell it, but you can buy them individually if you like as well. So we have the large stubby brush, and we have a medium and a small. And the small one now I haven't used very much, but I might start using this because it's quite a lovely little brush as well, for little detailed work. So I might put these together with a blender brush. Don't have to have it all together. I suppose you could just pick one or the other. So that's what I was thinking, perhaps selling them as a complete set like this. I think it's just, I think it makes life easier for the beginners to have a full set, rather than buying one and trying it, then buying a different size and trying that one. Just to buy a full set might make more sense, but it's just another option, I think. Something I was thinking about. So that's it. Anyway, I'm going to move on to this week's tutorial, and it's going to be this canvas. I haven't set the phone up yet just here. I have to put a picture on my phone, and I will set the camera up on the stand overhead, excuse me, and let me just turn here, and we'll get going with this, have a bit of fun. Nice autumn colours, not very very strong autumn colours now, just subtle colours, and I want to really bring the water out on this one. So let's grab some paints and brushes and let's have a bit of fun with this. I hope you learned something new today. So thank you very much for all your support, and don't go anywhere, alright? Alright, so here we go. Now I'm going to name my colours for you, and I have a lovely colourful palette today, just to give me plenty of options. I have Naples yellow, titanium white, cadmium yellow pale, I have some burnt sienna, some burnt umber, some cobalt blue, some naples crimson, or regular crimson would do you, some magenta, just a tiny bit of magenta, and some black. I think that will do us for today. A nice colourful palette, and I put those names on your screen, and we have a 16 by 12 canvas which I primed with my own primer. Just one coat of primer and a quick sand with some sandpaper, just a very light rub of sandpaper, and it really takes down the grain and it smooths it lovely and smooth. That's how my brush strokes move around so nice on the canvas, because I give it a quick primer with just regular white household undercoat, a water-based undercoat, with a little drop of PVA glue just poured into it. Mix it up, plenty of water, and Bob's your uncle. So all I'm using is turpentine. Look, regular clean, well it's not clean, but it's turpentine. Just turpentine on its own, nothing else. And I have my stubby brush, and oh look, I want to show you something. Look at the size of this. Can you believe the size of that tube? And I got this today in my local art store for €12.99. Can you believe that? And this is a standard tube, and this is €5. Can you believe that? Is that the bargain of the century or what? €5 for that, $12.99 for that. And I gathered there's about, I worked out there's about 6 of these small tubes inside in this one big one. And these are €5 and these are €13. Isn't that outstanding? So look at that. So plenty of white to keep me going for months and months and months on end. Happy days. Isn't that a bargain? Really, now in fairness. Well, they look after me because I'm going in there for a long time. So they give me little discounts here and there, but not too much obviously. Right, let's put the picture on the screen, and there it is. Isn't that gorgeous? Now it's gorgeous even as it is on its own. You could quite happily, I would quite happily paint that for you, but I had a request from someone to try and change the colouring slightly, make it more of a kind of an autumn scene, you know, kind of autumny. So that's what I'm going to do. Pencils at the ready, let's do a quick sketch. And I'm going to draw a line across here at the top, just to suggest the top of the waterfall. And I'm going, I don't know, let's say just below halfways. On the photograph it's above halfways, but I like to keep them down low to give more perspective to a painting. And in fact, you know what, scrap that idea, let's go a bit higher. What the heck, come on, it's our painting, we can do what we like. So this could be the very far edge where the riverbank meets the trees, and this could be where the water turns and falls over. Yes? I'm happy with that. Look, let's suggest some of the water turning here so we can paint in some nice dark rocks later. And I'm going to paint a nice dark rock in here. So this will be the base of the waterfall here. This will be all the river with some nice reflections. We have a lovely rock actually coming into the painting just here. I'd like to get that in. That's quite nice, isn't it? And it kind of goes around like that. It's not completely square at the edge, it kind of turns very slightly here. And it disappears kind of off over in there. Then there's another rock that comes out there like that. And I'm going to have fun now painting this one. Nice little rock there. Nice big black rock coming up by the waterfall there. That's pretty much it. This is all water. Happy days. Now, up here, it's all foliage, isn't it, on the photograph? But I don't know, I'm kind of toying with the idea of perhaps showing some sky, a very, very pale, bluey, autumny kind of a sky. I'm kind of just, I don't know why, I just have that idea in my head, I don't know why. But look, we have our artistic license, we can change it as we please, can't we? We sure can, everyone. So let's use that license. So I'm going to push these kind of more off into the distance, if you understand what I mean. That's probably even a bit high. I'm just doing a very, very loose sketch. And that's it. Here we go. Large stubby brush at the ready. Let's dampen this with some turpentine. So go right in here now and soak this with turpentine. And then, if I have a bit of tissue here, I'm just going to dab it on my tissue slightly. See, just to take off the excess. But it's still quite wet. Now, you might think it's very, very wet to be using as oils, to be using for oils. But the thing is, when you go into the white, then the white will thicken up the colour very, very quickly. Watch what I mean. So a very pale blue sky. Let's take a touch of cobalt blue, only a touch. So that's very watery. Look, it's like a watercolour. Very, very wet. Okay? But then when I add some white, it's going to get really, really thick. It's going to thicken right up. Look at that. Now, you see, it's like a cream now again, a very thin cream. So that's why I dampen my brush just a little at the beginning. And in fact, into that I might even take a touch of Natal Crimson. Just a touch. I don't want too much of that. I still want it to be on the bluey side, but it's a kind of a warm blue. And I hope you can see that now alright on camera. It's a very soft, warm, mauvey blue. And let's just put a hint of that in up there. Now still, that's actually quite wet, to be honest. So I'm going to dab my brush like that, take off the excess, and let's just pick up some white and go in there with some white. And another touch of blue. So we're getting slightly thicker then with the paint. Alright. I'll dry it again. I want a bit more blue than that. I think it's a little bit on the pale side for me, up there. And what I might do actually is, because I'm thinking of autumn colours, what I might do is just take my tissue for a moment. Now let's, this is evolving now all the time as the time goes on, so I could chop and change my mind. So let's just imagine I'm not happy with that. It's, it's just not the colours, autumn colours. I just don't think it's going to work. So look, I'm going to take some of that off. Go on, let's just go for it. Why not? It's only paint. Just the bottom half. And then I'm going to put this big brush down and take another smaller brush. Let's have a look at what we have here. Okay, let's take this flat brush here. Yes, you could even use your medium stubby brush for this. Let's use the medium one. Yeah, that's a bit better. And let's, I want to put a little warmth up in the sky. So I'm going to take a little touch of Naples yellow with plenty of white, loads and loads of white now, and a touch of magenta. And I want to put that kind of warmth off in the distance up there on the sky. See? That's more what I was kind of thinking, because autumny colours. Now I'm going to dampen it very slightly, just a corner of it, just to wet that paint just a little. And then I'm going to go right across now with that very soft pastel kind of a colour. Let's take a bit more. Tiny bit. Now the magenta is a very strong colour. All you want is literally the tiniest little bit on the corner of a bristle. And that's enough then to tint it, you see? I'm only mixing very, very small amounts of this colour. So let's go. Now, bear in mind we have blue and we have a shade of yellow here. I don't want to go green. So as we go up higher, I'm going to make it slightly more on the pinky side. So even just white and magenta would, and put that in between that blue and the yellow that you have there. And then that should neutralise any green that might come onto your painting. And I'm going to soften everything across with this brush. Look, you don't need a blender brush for this, and that's a nice soft distant sky now. Very, very soft, and it's warm as well because we're thinking of autumn colours. I'm basically just using the sketch of this, the drawing of that photograph, but I'm going to put my own colour into it. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So that's it. That's that part done, I would say. Let me just cover it with canvas here because the primer probably hasn't quite dried in fully. Let's just kind of go over that a little bit just there. Okay, that's fine. Now, dry my brush and let's think of trees. Now, autumny kind of trees. I would say, let me see. I don't want it dark at the bottom here anyway. It has to be dark at the bottom so that the water then will show off a bit more. So let's try some Naples yellow. Let's try a touch of burnt sienna. And let's try a touch of magenta. And then some white. Because I want to push these right off into the distance. Alright? And that touch of magenta will warm it lovely. Now let's try this. With this brush, and I'm just dabbing, I'm kind of curving the brush as I dab, you see. And you could even soften some of these into that sky as well. So it's very sort of soft off in the distance, you see. Look at that. And I will dampen my brush, and I'll take more of that, more of the same, and I might even just fill in some of that. Now I'm going to change colours as I go, so what I'll do is, I have this colour on my brush, I'll then pick up a little touch of magenta, we'll say, and on the canvas, mix that in there on the canvas, look. Have a bit of fun. And then, it's darkening as we come down, so let's take some burnt umber. Okay, let's put a little bit of burnt umber in there. Oh, that's nice, I like that. It's just paint, don't worry if you make a mistake. Just come on, let's enjoy this. Take a bit of burnt sienna with black. Alright, there we go, look at that. And soften that around nicely. Just make nice varied shapes of trees, etc. Just, you know, be nice and loose, nice and free. Let's imagine there's all these little bushes off in the distance, having a bit of fun. Don't worry too much. I'm not worried. So let's just keep going with this. A nice impression of some trees off in the distance. We will put highlights on these now as well, by the way, don't worry. Let me just sit back now for a moment and have a look at this. Okay. I'm thinking maybe lightening some of those. Maybe a touch of yellow with a touch of white. I just want to soften some of those back. They're a little bit strong for me. Just a few here and there. I'll soften them up into that sky just a little. Okay, carrying on right across. I'm going to dampen my brush at the corner, just at the corner again, just to wet it very slightly. I might take a bit of magenta and I might take some black. That'll give us a nice subtle grey, won't it? And that'll give us a nice kind of a distant colour as well. You see? And also, this is complementing that colour in the sky, isn't it? So that's why I'm kind of adding little touches of magenta here and there to complement the little bit of magenta in the sky. So I will work with these colours now right the way through the canvas, all the way down to the bottom. So let's keep going with this. This is nice and colourful. It kind of feels right. So I'm going to keep going with this type of colouring. hand on that now, because that knocking again is driving me bonkers. I tell you something. Let me take some black and let me go up here. Dab, 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 nice and easy. When you get down into the tree, then you can kind of swish it about like this, you see? And let's take a touch of burnt umber. Let's go in there with some burnt umber, just up in this corner here. Just burnt umber on its own. There we are. It's kind of, you know, it's evolving in front of us, isn't it? Now I might take some of that colour and put some of that colour over on the other side. And the reason is just to complement the painting on both sides. So I'll just add a dab of that kind of pinky tone just here and there, see? And it just kind of helps balance the painting out. So next, what do we want to do? I'm going to go to my bigger brush now, and I'm going to darken this right at the bottom. So I might go with some black, just on the corner of the brush, and some burnt umber. And I go down here, and I'm going to suggest some little bushes and that type of stuff. Okay, just here and there. And this brush is fantastic now for this kind of work, because it gives you lots of irregular shapes. You see? Isn't that just lovely? That's what we want. Look, nice irregular shapes. Again, I'll sit back and okay, that's quite nice. I'm happy enough with that. What I might do is soften with my blender brush, just soften very gently some of these up here, back off into the sky, and that'll give us a bit more depth and distance. I'm barely touching the canvas now with this, and I might try and soften some of this as well. This is a stronger colour now, so this will be much more difficult to soften. There we go. That's a bit better, and that's nice and soft now, isn't it? Next I'm going to put some trees. I'm going to take a small pointy brush, any small pointy brush you have, wet it with plenty of turpentine, and let's take some black and some burnt umber. So very, very dark here now with this. And let's suggest a couple of trees. Let's go here. Nice wiggly trees. Start off thick and then go out to a thin little line and just flick a couple of lines here and there, see? And there's no straight lines in this, it's all wiggly and wobbly. Nice and simple, look. And we'll put another one here next to it. It's just a little suggestion of some tree trunks and all sorts of things off in the distance there. And we put one or two over here. Okay, not too much, just one or two. There we go. And that'll do fine. Absolutely fine. Then let's just sit that down. Let's just sit them down into the bush. Look, just sort of blend them down into the bush just a little. There, done. Just like that. Wasn't that easy? Nice and easy. So we're moving down to the water. Down and down we go to the water. I might just make this quite dark just along there, and I'll take a little flat brush. In fact, you know what we'll do? Let's take our small stubby brush. Let's try this. Let's see how this goes. Okay, little stubby brush, And let's take some burnt umber. And let's just pull a little bit of burnt umber across here and there. And let's take some black as well. I just want to get a nice dark point right down there at the bottom. There we go. It's just a river bank over, far off in the distance. It's just the edge of the river, that's all. Just kind of give it a couple of wiggles, and look, I'm giving you a couple of flicks as well. And it's all kind of softening nicely together. No big deal. There we go. So I'm moving along nicely now. We have, what I'm going to do is actually with my medium stubby brush, I'm going to fill this in now nice and dark, this water. So all this rock here is going to be very dark. I'm going to fill this in. I'm going to take some, and this can be soaking in then, you see, while we're working on the water. It can be kind of drying and setting on the canvas. So some burnt umber and some black. And I'm just going to basically, yeah, that's what I'll do. Look, I'm just going to go right over this. And in fact, let's take a touch of cobalt blue as well. I'm going to cover all of this now, where the water is going to be falling down. There we go. Again, autumn colours, so I'm thinking browny black. I'm not going to do like a dark blue, because if it was a wintry scene or a summer scene, I'd put a dark blue onto this. I'm just going to put a dark browny kind of a black onto this. Go around that rock there, go right in there, look. And I'm going to go with a lot of black then right down at the base of this, because that's where the shadow will be on the rock. Very dark. Right down there, soften it up. And that will do. So we have our rocks kind of filled in right now. That's it. Now, water. So this is all water up here. Nice light kind of water, and there's bits of rocks and all sorts of things going on up there. So I'm going to take a nice flat brush. I'm going to take a number. What is this? A number 15? No, it can't be. That can't be number 15. I'm reading this wrong. It's number 12. Okay, any old decent sized flat brush that you have. And I'm going to mix a nice light colour for this. Let's think of colours. Let's try. Now, bear in mind it's water, so there's going to have to be a little touch of blue somewhere. So what I'll do is I'll mix a very kind, maybe a light fawn or a light mauve first. Some cobalt blue and some white, and I might take a touch of crimson. Not all crimson, that's a bit much again. So what we want is a very kind of, maybe a lilac. We'll say a lilac, will we? Let's say a lilac. Let me just put this in now first here and see what that looks like. Right across there like that. That'll do for a base, I think. So let's put this in as our base, and we can work on top of this then. So fill that in right across there. It's quite watery now, bear in mind, it's quite thin. And we will have reflections on this as well. So we're going to start indicating some reflections. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take some browns. So let's start with some nice browns. Let's take some burnt sienna, and let's take some black. So we have a nice rich dark brown, which is this colour, and a touch of magenta to make it warm. And I'm going to pull some of that colour down now just to see how it all looks. Okay, yeah, that's not bad. I'm going to pull that down, just right through that. I'll take some burnt umber as it comes across. So I'm going to, wherever these darks are, I'm going to take some dark colour, just on the very tip of my brush, see? And we have a bit of a dark there, don't we? So let's put that dark in. And let's take a touch of black. We have a dark coming down like that there. And we have a little bit of a dark tree here. Very, very loose now, very impressionistic. I'm not kind of, you know, going for every single detail. And we have a dark tree here. And we have a couple around. It gets quite dark over on this side, doesn't it? Let's take some brown and some black. And let's pull some of that down here. It's pretty much all the way across, isn't it? And let's get some burnt umber. And then just some black on its own. So I'm picking up, you see, I'm picking up little bits of colour at a time. So you can kind of begin to see the reflection come to life, only just very, very slightly. It's very slowly coming together. And then I'll reflect this tree with a little pointy brush and some black. Let's just reflect this tree a little bit. Just an impression again. Like so. And we'll do the same with this one here. Just a very light indication. Okay? Just simple, nicely done. Just like that. And what I might do then is I'll take a soft brush, okay, nice soft blender brush, and I'm going to soften some of these down very gently. Just straight down vertical strokes, and I'm gently pulling everything together, you see? And again, I'm hardly even touching the canvas when I'm doing this. All the way across. Again, let's give this a wipe like that, just to clean it. As there was hardly any paint at all on the brush, you see. I barely touched the canvas. And then let's pull across this very gently. Again, I'm holding it just with 2 fingers, look. It's so soft, it really is. And we go from this side, pull that in. And I'm going to soften that line very gently just across there, so it's not a harsh line. Just pull your soft blender brush just across that a couple of times. And let's sit back, take a look at that. Yeah, that's quite good. Palette knife time. Let's get the palette knife. And I'm not going to go for pure white, I'm going to take some white and I'm going to mix it into this lilac-y kind of a colour that we had. So it's a very whitey lilac. And let's take some of this on the edge of our knives, tiny bit, and I'm just going to cut across there and there, look. And suggest a couple of tiny ripples just here and there. But there will be a lot of movement on the water, on the top of the water there, on the river, because it's all coming towards the waterfall. So you can see even on the photograph there's a lot of movement up there. There's actually lots of mini, little small waterfalls up there as well. It's on the photograph, I don't know if you can see it. Let me just take a look here. I'm just going to keep this nice and simple. I want to simplify this. If you want to really go to town and you really want to get some detailing on this, little waterfalls and stuff, I'm going to zoom in for you, like so, and then I'm going to take a flat brush, something with a nice flat tip. Your medium brush now will be fine for this, your little stubby brush. So something with a nice flat edge, okay? And I'm just going to take some white on that. Just take a little touch of that white, or that lilac colour even. Just a little bit like so. And I'm going to pull in some little small waterfalls just up here. Just pull them down like that. Lots of little waterfalls coming down. Okay, it's giving a little impression of that, that's all. And it's just making the water look nice and kind of busy. So in other words, there's lots going on. And then let's take a small brush. I clean my pointy brush then. And I'm going to get lots of thick white. And I'm just going to go along here and there. And suggest little ripples, that type of thing. Okay? At the bottom of the water, see? And these are very small now, they're very small suggestions, that's all. But I'd like to make it nice. I want to make a really nice one this week. And put a couple across there. And in fact, I will even put a couple of darks in as well. I'll take some black and some brown, and I'll put a hint of some rock and that kind of stuff in here and there. Alright, just kind of drag it across here and there. And it just gives you that impression of a very rocky kind of an area. Rough water up there. There we go. That'll do fine. Now let's zoom back and see. Yeah, you see that looks quite good, doesn't it? So I'm happy enough now with that so far. Let me just fix the camera now so you can see every single detail. Every detail. Next we have this waterfall. And I'm going to put in some very dark rocks first with some black and a touch of brown. So I want a very dark rock just here, and it's just paint on its own now, by the way, just paint. I'm putting a nice dark rock in here. I'll just clean my brush, it's quite dirty. Now, some black, some brown, even a touch of burnt sienna. And I'm going to put a nice dark rock here. So I'm keeping these nice and dark now as not to put the water over these. Well, not too much anyhow. And let me put a couple along here. So it's just the undercoat I'm putting in. See, I'm just painting a dark, blacky brown kind of an undercoat for the waterfall, just to fall over this. We'll put some highlights on this now as well. We'll make these into rocks. Let's take some, with our small brush, some burnt sienna and some white and perhaps a touch of Naples yellow. Now lots of white in this, and let's catch this with some light. So there's some light now catching these rocks. And I'm just basically, it's just kind of scribbles. That's all, look. A couple of wiggles with the brush. So we'll have water falling over these then, you see. So I'm not being too particular with all of this. It's just a very light suggestion. Now, you can see that, okay? Okay, it's time for the water. Here we go. Time for this fantastic water. And I'm going to use another stubby brush. It's just a nice kind of it's a relatively new one, so it's nice and clean. You can see it's nice and it has a sharp edge and everything. So I'm going to take some fresh white paint on my palette. Now if we're not happy with anything in this, we can change it later. I'm still not gone on these colours up here 100%. I might fade some of them out. So anyway, let's go with this. Let's take some tiny bit of blue and a tiny bit of, let's see, crimson and loads of white. Plenty of white is what we want. So it's a nice warm colour again. And I'm going to start from the top and I'm going to turn and pull down, okay? So come across straight, turn and pull down, see? Like that, just like so. And then give the tip of your brush a rub on some tissue, just to clean it. Now I'll put more blue into that. I want to make it nice and blue. Then we come across again and we do the same. Okay. Clean it again. Pick up more paint. And then we can go across here and do the same like that. So you can kind of see the idea. You can see what I'm trying to achieve. I'll pull a little bit just in here, pull that straight down here. That's quite nice, isn't it? So let's try some with more blue this time. This time I'm going to go this way, just for one or two of them. I'm going to mix and match now with these. Take some more blue. And let's pull this one to the centre, so they're going to meet. Alright, look at that. Isn't that nice? I'm cleaning my brush now between each time I do this. Some blue, some pink, plenty of white. In fact, we could even make it a little pinky. That might make a nice complementary colour, wouldn't it? Oh, look at that. Looking very nice indeed. And let's pick up more on the tip of our brush. Now we could imagine that there's one or two kind of hitting the rocks as well. Under here like that, you see. So it's coming down and hitting the rocks. And it's turning in front of the rock again. And it's that simple. I'm just simply pulling my brush down gently and the canvas is pulling off the paint. I keep standing back then to check this is, it's looking okay and I'm happy enough with it so far. I'm going to come in here a little bit, just over that rock there. Now I get more paint again. I'm keeping this simple now just so that you beginners can really understand how easy these techniques are. They're really very, very simple to do. Now I come across here with some white, put some white in there. And then what I'll do is my palette knife, let's take some white, like that, okay, and just on the tips, let's pull some of this, I'm going to drag some of this around the curve of the waterfall, okay? Just here and there, see? and you can almost hear the canvas dragging the paint off. Watch now and we'll do it again. Isn't that lovely? So it really brings it to life, doesn't it? And then I'll take my small brush, my small flat brush with some white, get a nice point on it, and at the top of the waterfall then I'm going to kind of soften some of those in. I'm going to put some little streaks just across so it almost softens into the water up above it. See? Now let's put a couple along here. In fact, we could use our pointy brush. Will we use our pointy brush? Let's do that. And I'll zoom in slightly for you, look. Let me just zoom in again. So you can see properly what I'm doing. So little bits of white here and there, look. And we can even pull some little bits of white down like this on the waterfall. And then last but not least, let me zoom back again. I'm going to create a lovely mist now down at the bottom of the waterfall. So clean your brush, or medium brush, give it a good clean. Let's get this really nice and clean here now. And I'm going to take some of that light mauve colour, so some blue, a touch of pink and lots of white. I'm then going to create a lovely mist at the bottom of this waterfall. I'm going to put that colour with plenty of thick paint. I'm going to go along in circular motions, you see. Now you need to clean your brush regularly with this. And let's take a bit of blue. Put a bit of blue into that. Again, pull some blue, go into that with some blue. So now we're down to our river. And with your soft blender brush then, I'm just going to soften very gently some of that here and there, see? And there we are. How is that? So I'm going to leave this now just for a while, and I'm going to concentrate on some of the rocks. And you see, I want to get some of the rocks, some nice shapes on the edges of the rocks, you see. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, then we just get another brush. I have a very dark rock over here that I want to put in, so I'm going to take some black and some burnt sienna. Black and burnt sienna make a lovely dark brown also. So I'm just going to put a jagged kind of a rock out in front of the water. See what I mean? So it's in front of that kind of waterfall coming down. So let's put a little bit of black now, nice and dark into this. And my brushes, right now the brush is only, I dampen the brush and I dab it on the tissue well. so it's not a completely dry brush. That's how I mix my colours most of the time. Whereas if I'm working on a very thick layer of paint like this, I'll just use dry paint on its own because the canvas is already wet. Understand? So the next thing I'm going to do now is just just wipe off that blacky colour there. Look, wipe it off, and let's take some burnt sienna, and let's take some Naples yellow. Okay, a little Naples yellow, only little bits, and I'm going to go and just show some light on that rock there. Okay, so the light is kind of catching it as it comes down, and I'm softening that then into the dark colour, just pulling it down in the direction of the rock. See? Now can you see this? Can you see what I'm doing here? You can? I'm going to zoom in here slightly so you can see, get a better view of what I'm doing exactly, because I really want you to see how I'm doing this. So now let me just take a little bit of Naples yellow on my brush and kind of pull it down very gently, and it's creating loads of different shapes and shadows, see, and all kinds of things. And I'll do the same on this, so the light is catching it just up there. And I'm going to take something with a bit of mauve as well, a little bit of grey, see, just like so. Isn't that lovely? So that's one simple rock now just finished. Okay, let's move to the centre one here, and again I'll start off with a real dark colour, some burnt sienna and some black. So that's why I painted all of this dark at the beginning, remember? So I have my undercoat already done for my rocks, and it shows out the water lovely, the nice bright water. Now I'm going to put a little hump on this rock just here. Okay, like so. And it's not in the photograph, but I'm kind of doing this my own way now. I'm not looking at the photograph anymore from here on. And that's how you kind of make a painting your own. So you only use the photograph as a reference for the composition, for the drawing, and then make up your own colours, add in your own little bits and pieces as you go, and that's the fun I find with painting and making something your own. Okay, there we go. Now let's add a little bit of sienna into that, and I come over here, then we have another one kind of coming down in there. Sort of disappears down into the water. I'm just kind of softening everything, almost softening it all together here now, just at the bottom, you see. Let me zoom back a bit here now for you. There. Is that a bit better? So, my same brush again, give it a wipe. Let's take some sienna and some Naples yellow, and I'm going to just catch the tips of those where I think the light will catch, and also just a little bit here and there coming down. Okay, follow that, and I'll do the same with this, like so, and I'll do the same with this one. These are only very subtle changes, just subtle, see? But it's adding to the overall effect. And I'll do the very same now. I'm just going to dampen my brush very slightly and take some burnt umber and some black for this big rock over here, which is going to cut sort of in front of the waterfall again. Can you see that? You can. I'm just checking my video now to make sure that you can see everything properly and that you have a good clear view. And I'm going to take some of the crimson and some blue, and I'm going to put a nice dark plum kind of a shadow here and there on those. So the reason I'm using this nice dark shadowy colour, the warm colour, is to complement the autumn colours. So there's a little bit of red, a little bit of blue, a let me show you on this one here. Okay, you can see a little bit of reddy, bluey, plummy kind of a colour coming into it. And this will complement everything. So I'm putting this brush down now. What I'm going to do is take my small pointy brush and let's get some little bits of details on these rocks. Just small details. I'll take some more black on my palette. And by the way, I'm delighted you're getting real confidence from these videos and you're following me along every week. I have my regular followers, my audience, looking forward to a new tutorial every week. And it's fantastic to see how you're going with these paintings, and you're emailing me your paintings. I love looking at all your work. It's absolutely fantastic. You're really getting very, very good. And your techniques are really improving. And I can see that immediately when I see your artwork. It's absolutely fantastic. So give yourselves a big pat on the back. You're doing absolutely brilliant. And I bet you're even selling some as well, are you? Don't lie. You're selling them, I'd say. That's brilliant. It's always lovely when you sell something, isn't it? I get a great buzz when someone buys an artwork from me. And you know, it pushes me to want to do even better and better all the time. And I suppose it makes you feel like you've accomplished something when somebody buys a painting. That, you know, that person will cherish that painting for many, many years to come, and they will admire it, and it'll become part of their home. And your brush strokes are in that painting, and that's what I love. You put your brush strokes and your soul into that painting, and it just becomes really special. So I'm just adding little bits of black now just into the shadows here, just to give it a bit more depth. Okay, perhaps a little bit just under there. Now I'll sit back now for a moment, take a look at this, and then I'm going to get some nice light highlights on this. So let's go with some crimson, some white and some Naples yellow. That'll make a nice highlight colour, I think. And I'm just kind of suggesting the edges of the rocks, you know, the kind of the cracks in the rock and that type of thing. I'm just kind of flicking and dragging my brush around. See? Just kind of flicking it backwards and forwards, and I'm going in that direction of the rock again. There we go, another bit there. And putting that brush down, let me zoom back now again so you can see everything properly. How's that? Everything okay there? You can see? Alright, that's pretty good. And I'm going to add to that mist now again. I'm going to make that mist a little bit brighter. So I'll take my medium brush, give it a little clean, and I will take more titanium white on my palette. And let's take some of the white, okay, and I'm just going to go across that again very gently and brighten that mist. Brighten that mist right up now. And let's go across underneath that rock here. See, and it's pulling some of the brown down into the colour then. See, that's how you get lovely mist then, you see. And there's lots of different shades going through it. And with my soft blender brush, what I'm going to do first is soften some of these rocks down at the bottom, just very gently, kind of soften them together, soften those lines together, pull them down in the mist. Okay, very gently. This is great fun, isn't it? I'm really enjoying this. This is lots of fun, especially when I'm making something your own like this. you can really kind of, I suppose, let loose. Isn't that what they say? Let yourself loose. We have a rock, don't we? And I want to fill in this rock. Now I'm not going to go with the colours on the photograph again. I'm going to make my own colours. I'm going to take some brown, and I'm going to take some Naples yellow and some burnt sienna. Now I'm going to dampen my brush just very slightly for this, and I'm going to fill this in with that colour first. I will darken it now, don't worry. I'm just kind of getting just kind of the undercoat done. Let's take some burnt umber now and pull that in, drag that across from the right hand side across it there, like so, giving it more tone. And we could even pick up some black, kind of here and there, see? Just drag it across. And we have a very dark then, just around. I'm going to put light on this side and dark on this side. And that'll give it a nice three-dimensional kind of a look then, won't it? So let's take some crimson with some black, just for now. And I'm going to pull that down here. And it's going to come back like that, isn't it? And again, it doesn't have to be straight. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be straight. Then I will take a brighter colour. I'll take some white with some Naples yellow and perhaps a touch of that crimson. So you see, I'm using all the same colours now throughout, and each one will kind of complement the other. That makes sense? And just soften them at the joint where they meet. So you see, I'm kind of pulling both colours together where they meet. Okay, we'll follow that. Okay, let's add a touch of blue into that, because it is a rock after all, so it needs to be very dark, doesn't it? And I'm picking up some black, so I'm kind of, you know, messing around with this now. See what happens really. And what I'm going to do is, with the palette knife, I'm going to create some texture on the top of that rock. So with some white, and in fact I'll take a little bit of that mauve colour. That'll be quite nice. And I'm going to just drag that across here and there, see? Just creating a little texture on the top of the rock. Now you can make it more, I might make it more kind of bluey in a minute. I'm just kind of messing as I go here with this. So let's take some cobalt blue, with some crimson, tiny bit of crimson, and let's put some of that around in the shade. There we are, see? And then with a pointy brush, I'll take some black and I'll just go along the edge here and there, and I'll put a couple of little kind of suggesting some cracks and that type of stuff on top of the rock. Okay, like so. And then I'm going to come on to our water. And here we go now with our big stubby brush again. I'll dampen it very gently just at the edge of my brush. Take some blue, and I'll take some of the crimson. And I might even take a touch of black now in this as well. Because I don't want a very rich blue for this. I want to complement everything, keep it all nice and soft. So we have a kind of a grey now, that's a bit dry, isn't it? I better mix more. So some blue, some white, a little crimson, and a little black. Let's try that. And let's pull that colour now right across there. These big brushes, these stubby brushes, they can be quite tricky to use when they're new because they're so soft. Trying to get a lot of paint on at once can be tricky, I suppose. But just keep using it. Just use it for 2-3 paintings, and it will thicken up and stiffen up, and it will be perfect then for everything you need to do. Bushes, trees, water, clouds, you name it. So just persevere. I promise it will work out in the end. Don't worry. So here we go now. Pulling that right in there. So I have a nice kind of a base coat there now, really, don't they? You call it a base coat. It's kind of a base coat, isn't it? So we're going to start putting some reflections, that type of thing, in here. So I suppose the first thing to do would be some reflections here. So with the same brush now, just give it a clean on our tissue. I'm going to take some black and a touch of blue and a touch of crimson. And let me just try that now. I'm going to pull that down very gently, like so. Okay, straight down now, vertical. And then I'm going to switch to a smaller brush and do the same for the lighter part. So I'll take some Naples yellow, some of the crimson, and I'll take a touch of black as well actually. And I'm going to pull that down, straight down, look. There we go, pull everything straight down. Alright. I'll take a touch of darker colour just for here. And I might even take some black for little parts here and there, where it gets really dark. Okay, we are looking good with that. I might take some white. Pull some white down, a touch of yellow as well, touch of Naples yellow, and I might pull some of the white hair down, just a little here and there. Alright, just to simulate some of those waterfalls. Okay, touch of Naples yellow, touch of white. Okay, just it's only an impression, that's all. And then of course we have some dark rock as well, don't we? So let's take some burnt umber for that with a touch of black, and let's just pull very gently a hint just here and there. Because of course we have this mist, and that's going to kind of create a nice barrier between these, isn't it? Now I'll take a bit more black just for this one here. Quite dark. And then I think I'll just soften that straight down now with my blender brush. Pull that straight down from the mist right down into the reflection, and go right across the rock as well. And then what do? We pull left and right, don't we? Or even just whatever direction you like. Just very, 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 very gently. Now, let's stand back and have a look at that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that so far. I'm thinking next we could put some ripples in with this. Let's put just 1 or 2 just here and there, just for a moment, and see. We'll put a couple at the back of the rock here. then I'll soften that with my blender brush very gently. Horizontal right across. Let's have a look at this. See how this looks. Okay. Yep, I'm pretty happy with that so far. Now we have a little rock just here. Another little rock just coming down here. So I'm going to put that in. So let's take another little flat brush, a nice flat brush, and let's get some burnt umber again, and let's just pull that across in front of the other one. And again, nice and simple, burnt umber with a little black, and we'll create a nice little rock down here. So this now will push everything else back, you see, behind. And it's getting very dark then. So notice now I'm staying away from cool colours, especially for shadows and that type of thing. I'm not using cool blues, that type of colour for the shadows, just brown and black, because I'm keeping it warm for an autumn scene. It's a kind of an autumn scene, I suppose it's a little bit like an autumn scene, alright. Autumny colours. And then with the same brush look, we'll pull some of that colour down into the reflection. Just like that. Now I'm going to switch at this point to my small stubby, very small stubby brush. Lovely job, isn't it? No, I'm really liking this brush, it's lovely. I haven't used this very much, to be honest, only up until about a week ago. I kind of use it every now and again, but yeah, it's actually a lovely brush, really is lovely. So I'm just going to put a hint of light now, just on that little edge just there, and then pull it down into the dark, and we'll do the same with that side. So we'll create another one just here. Alright. And then I'll take a pointy brush and I will put some colour, some little ripples around in front of that, just with some white and a tiny bit of blue. Tiny bit. And look, I put a couple of ripples just here and there. So you can imagine the water is kind of coming around that rock. See, and it's creating ripples then around the rock, see? And we could even put a couple of ripples here and there, look. We don't have to use the knife all the time. Let's put a couple of ripples in, yes? Let's practice some of our rippling techniques. Just imagine it's like a little snake on the water. That's probably the easiest way of describing it. So lots of little snakes wiggling across the water. So I hope you're having fun now watching this. This is a nice relaxing. This is probably one of my more relaxed kind of tutorials, I think. And next week I think I'm going to do that nice little sunset, that little sunrise cottage that I just showed you earlier. I think I might do that next week, because that really is stunning. I love how that turned out. And I was just kind of doodling on a bit of canvas, really. That's how it came about. Just kind of messing with colour, trying to create a warm snow scene. So I think that is about it. Of course I will go back and kind of refine some details, look, pick out some darks. The darks really kind of bring the painting to life, so I'll kind of go along now and put little darks in here and there. Just put some black, and I'll darken some of the shadows on these here. Couple there. Come along here, maybe add one or two to this. Maybe even pull some down. So just kind of messing around now, trying different things, look, see? Because you see, the darks will always stand out much more when they're really dark. And I think that's about it. I'm glad that you joined me for this. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint. And again, I will have another tutorial for my patrons. Those of you who are patrons, I will have a tutorial in the next 2 days, 2 to 3 days. Another lovely tutorial for you. And thank you so much for your support. You're really kind, you really are very kind. And your support is really kind of helping me do these every week. And I suppose it also kind of makes me feel like you appreciate what I do. You're kind of helping me out. Now, of course, those of you who are just watching my channel every week, you're a massive help as well. You're all supporting me in different ways. It's fantastic. So thank you so much for watching. We have one more thing to do. And what is it? You betcha, we better sign our names, hadn't we? And there's one other thing. I don't know if you know what it is. Let me sign here. S. Conway. I'll have to get a pen for this and sign it when it's dry. And a bird. Isn't that my trademark, a bird? There we go. We just put one bird in this time. So that, my friends, is it. Let me zoom in here now and show you what we've done. Very slowly. So we have a lovely sky there with some trees off in the distance. Look at that. Gorgeous colours. And you can see we just kind of kept all the colours very similar right through the painting. Adding touches of crimson, touches of magenta, adding touches of brown to most colours. And you can see how easy the waterfall was to paint. It's just basically white paint on the tip of your flat brush, a little curve, and pull it straight down then lightly on the canvas. And the canvas will then pull off the colour. Isn't that lovely? Now I have a frame. I have one I made earlier, and let's let's put a frame on this and see how it looks. Okay, there we are. Frame. And would you look at that? Isn't that just gorgeous? I'm very, very, very happy with that now, I really am. Let me turn around now so you can see me here. This old jig here is squeaking all over the bloody place. Crazy, I tell you. Crazy! Excuse me. Thank you very much for watching. Keep your paintings coming to me. I love seeing all the work you're doing. Send it to stephenconway12@gmail.com if you're new. Don't forget to subscribe. That's the most important part of all. Subscribe. Click the subscribe link, whatever it is. New videos every week. I'll be back next week with another one. I'll think of something nice again. Oh, that cottage, actually. Look. This one. Let me get this for you. Here. Will I do a tutorial next week on this? Would that be lovely? Yes? Nice rich oranges and pinks and purples. I think we'll do that next week. Watch out for this next week. Okay? So thank you very much for your support. Thank you for all your help, your comments, your suggestions, your advice, everything. Thank you so much. Go and get painting now. I hope you like that. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you next week. Thank you. God bless you all, and thank you so much. I will see you again. Happy painting. Goodbye.